بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are having a dictionaries tutorial or dictionaries orientation class, if you will, where we just look at different usage of the dictionaries and the different dictionaries that we have. But also I thought it was important for us to just look at the different resources that are out there as students of the Quran and students of Arabic that we can use to advance our studies in both Arabic and the Quran. So I'm just going to take maybe about 10-15 minutes at most to go through different resources out there. And then when Brother Abdulaziz comes in, we can now shift to Hans Wehr and Lane's Lexicon, specifically those two, so that we can see how those dictionaries work. Because I think they're the most important dictionaries in English that are out there. Of course, there are other dictionaries in Arabic, in Urdu, and I will show you so that you can have a clear picture. The other disclaimer is that I'm not going to look at applications on the phone, because again, you know, some people have iPhone, some people have Android, and I don't want to get into that whole discussion of Android versus iPhone. I don't know which one is better. Android is better, but I'm not, I don't want to find that debate online. So I'm not going to look at applications. They're out there. You probably have them on your phone, so we won't do that. We just look at websites that I thought are important or have been mentioned in class, in Dream program, or maybe some students have mentioned here and there. So those are the sites we're going to look at. So we're going to start with Quran apps that I think are friendly and really good for our purposes. So we'll start with tanzil.net. So what you're seeing right now is tanzil.net. If you just go to tanzil.net, this is the welcome page, if you will. And it's very basic, it's very simple. So on the right here, oh, this is the left, I think. Here on this side, and maybe I can use annotate so that you can see. So maybe on this side, you can see some stuff, some instructions on how to go about it. The first part is the search button. So you can be able to search there. You can, for example, if I want to find kitab in the Quran, I'll just write there kitab and then click on search, and it's going to search, and it's going to give me the results of all the ayat that have kitab in them. Or I could search using roots. So for example, if I pick the first letter of my root of the file letter, basically maybe it's a ba. So I click on ba, and then the drop down list, I click on, say, bahatha, baha and tha. And then I click search button, and then it's going to give me so one result, one ayah, urabun yabhathu. So that's the ayah that word exists in. That's basically it. Or you can go to, so select the ayah number here, and you can go to that particular ayah or that surah. Same thing with browse. It's pretty easy. So you select the surah there, you select the ayah there, you select the juz there, page number. You can, if you click plus, you go an ayah above. If you click minus, you go an ayah below. So it's a very basic, easy to understand stuff. You can also listen to the Quran. You can select which translations you want here, and it will be shown to you. Again, of course, now this, we are on the search results page. You can go back to the Quran, and it will just show you where you are in the Quran. You can, so this is where, if you're reading the Quran, and then of course translation, this is where the translation would be. So that's basically Tanzil. There's not much about it, so that's why I wanted to start with it. And of course, why I'm doing this, I know some of you might be familiar with some of these sites, but not all of us are familiar with them. So I just wanted to do like a comprehensive list so that everybody is familiar with that. The other Quran app that I really love is Quran.com, of course. Everybody's familiar with this app, I think, and all of us try to use it. So this is how Quran.com looks like. You can have if you sign in, you can bookmark your different places that you've been reciting. You can set goals, you can monitor your goals. You know, maybe you want to read one juz every I don't know, every month or every day. You can set different goals for yourself. So this is how Quran.com looks like. So let's say you want to look at a particular surah, so you just click on it. So at the top here, there are two options: translation, where it gives you the different translations, and in the translation part, You can select which translations you want by going to the settings, and then you can just customize the settings the way you want. So translation, if you go to translation over here, so I click translation, and then you go to translation over here, you can select as many as you want over there. So that's translation, and it will give you the different translations that you want. Say you just want to read without any translations, so that's like a must-have type of reading, then you can just read that. You can increase also the size, going to the settings, you can increase the font and whatnot. You can search again, either by surah, by juz, by page, however you want to search. So it's pretty easy. The other amazing thing about, you can also play, it can give you word by word. So for example, if I go to translation, it can give me the meanings of each and every word. There are other also functions that I'm sure if you just explore this stuff, you would find quite a lot. Yeah, Mazida, me too. Quran.com, always my go-to. Like it's very functional and very versatile. I love it so much. And of course, the other thing about Quran.com that maybe you may not know, it has other resources over here that I'm not going to look at today. So these ones you can check out on your own. Quran Reflect, this is Dr. Suhaib's, baby. So you can check that out also for Tadabbur and see how different people are reflecting on the Quran. Tartil.ai, I think it's a memorization tool, but I think it's a paid thing. I don't know if it's available for free. So you can check this out as well. So that's basically Quran.com. There's not really much there, I think. Then we have, of course, you can play, you can select different qaris. There's a lot. You can explore Quran.com, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this place. The other one that I like to go to sometimes is Islami City. I don't know if it's Islami City or if Islam iCity, but I think it's Islami City. So islamicity.org. And the reason I don't know about this other stuff, worldwide prayer, understanding Islam, Q&A, all this other stuff, I don't know about. The only reason I come to this place is for Quran. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to go to Quran. And the reason why I come here is because you realize in the search button, for example, in Quran.com, you can only search either in Arabic or in English. Like, for example, if I say going, I can type in going and it will give me all the ayat that have going in it. Or I can type in Arabic. I can say ذهب in Arabic and I click enter and it will give me all the ayat that have. So I can search either in Arabic or I can search in English. But the good thing about Islamic City is that you can actually search phonetically. So before I learned how to type in English, so I used to type like this. I would type Arabic in English and phonetically. So that becomes very easy. So for example, I just typed huwa khayrun mimma yajma'un, and that's the ayah that it gave me. Huwa khayrun mimma yajma'un. And sometimes, like the end of an ayah, you don't know the beginning, or the middle of an ayah, and you don't know how, like, I know this ayah, but I don't know the beginning, or I don't know, So I just come in and type it here, and it gives me the entire ayah. It also tells me which surah it is, so I can go maybe back to Quran.com and just check it out. I don't like the translation that they give because it's very odd. I find it very odd, so I prefer the translations on Quran.com. So that's just kind of a pretty handy thing that I find. Yes, we did the recording, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so that's a pretty tool that I find in an Islamic city that you can use. So you can also explore other options. Again, you can search by surahs, you can search by juz, you can search however you want to search. So that's just like searching surahs and stuff. Then we have Quran Hive. I'm pretty sure you're also familiar with this one. So again, with Quran Hive, you can also search phonetically. So if I want to search something phonetically, maybe I'm going to come here and say phonetic search, and then I'm just going to type whatever, press enter or press the search button, and then it's going to search, and then it's going to give me the ayah. So this is another good thing about Quran Hive. And of course, Quran Hive can also give you i'rab and other functions. So for example, if you click an ayah or if you go to a surah and you click on learn, it will tell you either, memorize Ibn Kathir, all these resources. And it can also give you the i'rab. So you can just click on i'rab and it will give you afala is hamzatul istifham, all this stuff is going to give you the breakdown of every single part of this ayah. And that's going to be Quran Hive for you. Of course, the translation, you can play this stuff. You can, if you play down here, it's gonna, I think, play Ustaz Nu'man's Bayina. I think it's the, not the Deepa Look series, but the other one, the Precise Commentary, or so, I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
Concise summary.
Concise, yes, concise commentary. So that's what it's going to play here. So if you play here, that's what it's going to do. So that's mostly what Quran Hive is all about. Again, you can increase the font if you want. You can decrease the font. So it's also pretty handy. I don't use it as much, but you can use that as well. And then, of course, you have Quran, Corpus Quran. This is a massive one, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, this one has a lot of stuff in it.
Can I say, sister, something? Quran High also has Arab of the ayah. If you...
It has morphology, it has i'rab, it has, I mean, it has like the a drone type of i'rab you can find. So there's a lot here. So you can just go and explore one. So word by word, basically it will give you the word by word breakdown of every ayah. So you just search here if you want Surah Al-Baqarah, you want verse, whenever, whichever verse you want, click go. It's going to give you word by word, yukhadi'una, and of course it's going to tell you here at the bottom fi'al mudari', al-waw, dhamir, all that. So it's going to give you the breakdown for word by word. And of course, you go to Quran Dictionary. Again, you can search here the way we were searching in tanzil.net. So you pick the first letter, the fa letter, and it gives you a list of all the names. Then you click go, and it kind of gives you that. Oh yeah, Quran Hive also does that. Yeah, it gives you the morphology and stuff. So there's a lot. I just wanted to spend a very little time with all this stuff. I didn't want to. So you can actually just go check this stuff out. It's very straightforward. Just click on these things and then it will tell you what you need to do. Aramaster, I don't know it, but I will check it out, inshallah. That's new for me. So check it out and we can give feedback in the group, inshallah. So our tools, this is basically where we started with Ustaz, looking for words. So when you go to our tools, this is the first page you see. And then you click on word and you can either search a word from Arabic to English. If you know the Arabic word, but you want to know the meaning in English, you can put it there. If you know the English word, but you want to know the Arabic, is what you can do. Enter the word there, click look up word, and it will give you a list of the words. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. We know how to use this. I just put it there because it's one of the resources that we have. Then we have reverso.net. So when you click Reverso, this one is also versatile. So you can actually translate. You can choose either Arabic to English. You can change the languages. There's no Urdu, unfortunately, guys, sorry. But you have other languages you can pick. So Arabic to English, English to Arabic, whatever. I don't use it much. Translation, normally I just go to Google, but also this one you can use it. But you have to be careful with translations because it's not always 100%. How I like to use reverso for conjugation. So this is sarf. So you can come there, click conjugation. You can select Arabic because you're not really conjugating in English. And then you type the word, I don't know, dahaba. And then it's just going to give you this dahaba and then this dahaba. So you just click on dahaba. And it will give you, the arrangement is a bit weird. It's not like how we memorized the sarf saghir and sarf kabir. So it's a bit different, but then you get used to it. So as long as you understand, okay, this is the ma'loom. So they start with the ma'loom, then they go to the majhul, and yeah, you get it. As long as you know, okay, dhahaba yadhabu, and then the command is idhab, and then at the bottom you will have the masdar, dhahaban, stuff like that. Isim fa'il, isim maf'ul. So you get the sarf there. It will give you the sarf. It's pretty good, I think. You can check out the other stuff. I think next, okay, yeah, we can go to Lisan al-Arab. I was just using this recently. So not Lisan al-Arab, tafsir, furqan.co. This is, yeah. So this is furqan.co. We are familiar with this stuff as well. So of course you have the top line, bahth, when you want to search something. So you can just type it there in Arabic. Tafsir is for books of tafsir. So you enter the ayah there. You can type it in or you can select the surah and you can type in the number of the ayah, click enter, it's going to give you, and then you can read the different books if you are that level. Of course, Ustad loves Imam Razi, Ibn Ashur, and all these other guys. So you have all those resources over there. And then, of course, Ulum, this is where the Arab stuff is. Most of you always ask me, how do you know the Arab? You go to Ulum here. And then I prefer to use Muyassar because I'm at that level. I'm not really Darwish level yet. And also because I'm still learning how to read without harakat. So go to Muyassar. Just see, it's going to tell you إياك ضمير منفصل في محل نصب all that information is going to be given there and you can understand. Also, the other part about I'rab that I really like in this site is the Al-I'rab al-Marsum. So this is like the drawn, the depicted I'rab. So it kind of gives you like a clear picture of the different whatever is going on in the ayah. So it tells you this is the maf'ul bihi, this is the fa'il, all that. I think also Corpus.Quran does this. So yeah, that's amazing. And then of course you can also go to Ma'ajim. This is the dictionary, one of the dictionaries. But all these dictionaries are in Arabic. So you have to know Arabic to be able to come here. For example, if the jidr was fahasha, this is the word I was looking for, you go to Lisanul Arab and it's going to give you a lot of Arabic stuff. Okay, so that's basically Lisanul Arab. I keep saying Lisanul Arab. This is tafsir to kind of seal. So of course, oh my God, I'm way over time. So of course, the other sites, if you click here, the other sites that you can be able to use, you can check that out on your own. Al-Ma'ani is another resource, also like a dictionary. So you can just type in like the word dhahaba and it will give you different words, different meanings, how it is used, the family, the sayghas, the different sayghas and whatnot. It's a pretty handy tool. I like to use it as well. Tafsir.com, this is a really old one. So if you just click on it in the beginning, this is how it's going to look like. So on this side, you have the English stuff, and on this side, you have the Arabic stuff. So you can be able to, but this is mostly for tafsir. I don't really recommend it much. And then, of course, lastly, we have ijtal.net. So when you click ijtal.net, sorry, ijtal.net, this is where you're going to end up. And, most people get confused. Okay, now what next? So normally I prefer to use Arabic Almanac because it has more resources in it. And I customized mine. So like you can hide stuff, you can show stuff. And I think this is where the Hanswehr comes in and the Lanes Lexicon. So I think with that, I want to pass it to, is he here? Okay, yeah, to Brother Aziz. I'm going to make him the host or the co-host, rather. And we can see where to proceed from here, inshallah. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if there are any questions because of time. I really took a long time. I wanted to take at most 15 minutes doing all that.
Sister Ilham, how did you get here? You just have to click the main link and Arabic language resources you have to click on.
So you just go to ijtal.net. So you type in ijtal.net, you click on it, takes you to this page. Then you have these different options. So the first option is Arabic Almanac, and it tells you it allows searching in Wehr and Lanes Lexicon, You have Mawrid, these are different stuff. Mabhath Talib, I think this is where Ustad told us to go. But normally, personally, I prefer to go to Arabic Almanac. So I'll go to Arabic Almanac because it has more resources. Like there's a lot more dictionaries in there. There's actually Urdu dictionaries as well, Malay dictionaries as well. There's so many dictionaries you can be able to pick and choose. So you just click on that and you end up on a because my page is already customized. Like it won't look like this if you go there, but it might be like hidden. I don't know how it looks. If it's hidden, then what you you just click on it and it will open up. And if you want to search a word, you go to search, type in the Arabic jidr. I don't know, dhahaba, that's the word we're using today. So just type in and then it will give you. So you go to where dhahaba is. So dhahaba starts from here in Hanswehr. And yeah, I think we can now proceed from there with Brother Aziz. Is that okay, Brother Aziz?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm just going to stop my share so that you can be able to share yours.
Okay, great. I will begin in just about a minute here.
Okay. No problem. Maybe we can take any other questions if there are any questions as Brother Abdulaziz. No, sorry, Brother Aziz gets ready. Or any recommendations that you guys have. Oh, Hans has an app also. So yeah. Even Tafsir.co, Furqan.co, sorry, has an app. If you're used to using your phone, you can check that out. So yeah. So maybe the one that I didn't mention while Aziz is getting ready is this one. I skipped it over because it's not that well developed, and I think it was developed by a Baina student. So maybe that's why it was mentioned in class, or some students were mentioning it. It's pretty basic, pretty easy, but it doesn't have all the words, especially difficult words, irregular sarf words. It doesn't have, so it makes it very, not very adequate to use. So, but I'm sure some of you have it as well, so you can use it, support the brother or whatever. Yeah. Any questions on that as we prepare to get into the dictionaries? Okay, great. Are you ready, Aziz?
Yes, I'm ready, sister. So let me begin the screen share here. Okay. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So I'm going to be presenting to you. Oh, by the way, sister, is the screen share working okay?
Yeah, it's working okay. I don't know if you can turn your phone. Yeah, I think that would be a bit better. Yeah, good.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to be covering just some strategies and an overview of some of the mechanics of using both the Hans Wehr and Lane's Lexicon dictionaries. Just as an introduction, the Hans Wehr dictionary was written in the 1960s, I believe, so middle of the 20th century, and Lane's Lexicon was written in the 1800s. Might have been 18th, may have also been in the middle of the 1800s as well. I don't remember the exact year. So those are two, and and actually even the middle of the 20th century is getting old now. So those are kind of two different eras. We're used to a lot of things on the internet, and you know, laser printing and nice fonts and the way things are organized. But you have to remember that there were limitations, with the printing presses and the way that they could do things, and they had to print these books, right, with so much information in it. So they had certain systems to condense the information, which is different than the way information is presented in dictionaries today. And I think that's one of the challenges for students nowadays, where when you're dealing with an older system of documentation. But we'll go through that. These are both great resources. As you all know, Hans Wehr is a dictionary for modern standard Arabic, and Lane's Lexicon is, you can think modern standard to a decent degree, but it's more classical. It's kind of a classical Arabic dictionary. And so they both have their uses. When you're doing your EMSA textbook, Hans Wehr is obviously, you're probably your primary resource or go-to if you don't use any of the other websites that the sister mentioned. But when you're studying Quran and tafsir, for English-speaking people, Lane's Lexicon will often be a better place to go and research. And you'll see also with usage that there are older terms and verb forms that are not found in modern standard Arabic, or not used, I should say, that are actually found in Lane's Lexicon. So that's a that's a reason to do it. And an easy way to access these resources is the website that the sister gave just now, the edgetal.net. That's one place where you can find, these two sources and many others as well. So I'm going to begin. We'll take a look at some of the abbreviations. I put this out into a separate document just to make it a little easier. What I did was I boxed the abbreviations you need to know. And this is Hans Wehr. So we're starting with Hans Wehr. Then we'll be going to Lane's Lexicon. These are the abbreviations you need to know. And then we'll go into some of the other conventions in Hans Wehr. And then we'll look at some dictionary samples. And then we'll look at some of the documentation for Lane's Lexicon, and then we'll do some examples as well. So let's go through these. So these you have to know. Mostly now some of these maybe not as common, but we'll go through these. So ABSTR dot abstract ACC. Oh, actually, I won't say the dot just to make it a little easier. So ACC is accusative, and you guys know that means the nasab case. ADJ dot adjective, that's the sifa. ADV dot adverb. I'm not sure the term for that in Arabic, but that's the words that typically are mansub and that are translated as ly. So fawran, things like that, like quickly. Approx, APPROX dot. And then arithmetic, ARITH, CA dot, circa or about. That's the common Latin phrase that is used actually in academic writing all over the place. If you read journal articles and things like that. And so CA is a good one for any student to know. So circa in Latin or about. Then coming back up here, CF, another very important academic abbreviation used all over the place, as well as in this dictionary, CF dot. I don't know what that stands for, but maybe I think it's a Latin phrase. CHR, capital, Christian, COLL, collective. That's referring to collective nouns, I believe, like ism jama, if I'm not mistaken. Then COLLOQ, colloquial. And it doesn't seem to be used that often, but that would refer to you know things that are less than modern standard Arabic or more like just casual talk. Uh, COM, commerce, CONJ, conjunction. Example of a conjunction would be like wow, harf ataf, right? Like the wa. So, and then DEF dot definite, that's ma'arifa. DEM dot demonstrative, that's an ismu ishara. DIAL, dialectical, dialectal. DO, ditto. This shows up a decent amount. I mean, here and there in the dictionary. So DO, well, maybe not that common, but it does show up. Ditto means the same as what is mentioned previously. So if you ever see a DO dot, just means that what was mentioned previously is the same thing that's there. Egypt, obviously, for this region specific vocabulary, EG dot, and they're both of them. So just watch out for that. And there is a difference between EG dot and E dot G dot. So don't get those mixed up, right? So EG dot is Egyptian, but E dot G dot, I think it stands for amplia gratia in Latin, which means for example. And then we've got EL, electricity, ESP especially. Two abbreviations for feminine, F dot and FEM dot. FIG is figuratively, FIN finance, FOLL following. GENIT, that's genitive, that's in the jar case. Obviously grammar, that's nahu. Then we have IE, I think that's id est. That means that is. And then we come up here to medicine, MED, military. There are some military terms you may come across in the dictionary that are, related to they may be at the side of one of the terms you're looking up. So if you ever see that, MIL, we've got Morocco and Moroccan, and then N dot is a noun. And then we have NOM dot, nominative, that is the Rafa case. N dot UN dot, this is nomen unitatis. This is called, I believe it's called a unit noun. This is an example of this. It would be something like when you have a word like ainab, which means grapes, and then you add a tat marbuta to it to make it a single instance of grapes. Ainabatun, which is a grape. So that's an example of a unit noun. Nomen unitatis, which is N dot UN dot. And then O dot S dot, this shows up all over the place. This is an extremely important abbreviation to know. Oneself. O dot S dot. Then we come here to the IMPERF, imperfect. Maybe I can save time by not spelling out each word. So I'll just say the word. You can see it on the screen. So imperfect, that is the mudari'. Then we have indefinite, that is nakira. Interjection, in case you come across it, it's like a statement of surprise. Like it may refer to certain expressions in Arabic, or maybe afad al-ta'ajjub, possibly. Intransitive, that refers to lazim. We've got Iraqi, Islamic. We have the Jordanian kingdom, journalism, Judaism with JUD, and then jurisprudence, Lebanon, Lebanese. That shows up a decent amount. You'll see those. LIT, literally, M dot, masculine. Then we also have MASC, so two ways to spell masculine there. And then we have a particle, PART dot, that's harf. Passive, that means mabni lil majhul. Perfect, PERF, that's al-madi. Person, personal, PL dot, very important one, plural, jama', pluralis communis, communis. Not sure the exact one, but I think you guys can probably figure that out when you come across it. Preposition, another way to show a harf, although prepositions and huruf in Arabic are not exactly synonymous. So, there are some things that are harfs in Arabic that would not be considered a preposition in English, and there's some things in English that are prepositions that are not considered a harf in Arabic. So it's kind of a general overlap term, but it's not exact. So just be a little careful with that one. Pronoun, is a lamir, and you have learned about attached pronouns and independent pronouns, right? So that's PRON pronoun. QV, I think it says which C. I think that's typically used when they're directing you to another entry. So when you see a Q dot V dot, that means which is something you should see, I think. Reflexive refers to an action that is done to yourself. Then we come down here, rhetoric. We have singular, that's mufrad. S dot O dot someone, that's very important. This designation will tell you in the dictionary when you have a maf'ul, is it referring to a person or an inanimate thing? So that's where the someone something comes into play. So S dot O dot someone is important. Specifically, we have something here, S dot TH dot something. Then we've got subjunctive. I believe that will typically be al-mudari al-mansub. So when you see SUBJ subjunctive, that's al-mudari al-mansub. Substantive is an old term for a noun. So that's a very, very old term. So this would probably confuse a lot of most modern students. SUBST, a dot. So that's a noun, I believe. And then we have Syria. And then we have theology, transitive. That's muta'addi. Tunisia, some Tunisian specific vocabulary, uninflected. Not 100% sure about that. That may refer to non-flexible or mabni, but this is not something I've seen frequently, so I'm not too used to that abbreviation. And then verbal, VERB. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the abbreviations. Now let's go to some of the instructions in the preface. So we're gonna go here, and then okay, let's go to this entry here. Okay. Unfortunately, due to the Zoom, the way that the Zoom streaming works, there is a little bit on the phone. A little bit of the border is cut out. So let me try going straight on this one. Guess that'll be difficult too. So this page may be a little difficult for us to properly, but we'll try. We'll do the best we can. Maybe I'll have to. Okay, so going through some of these things. They go through the knowing the verb forms in the Orientalist system is very important. So form 2 through 10. Two, you guys know from the Bayina curriculum is Allama yu'allimu ta'liman, form 3. And also you have to be able to read Roman numerals. So let me do this because fortunately they don't teach this in school nowadays, and people need to know this. So okay, in the Roman numeral system, an I represents 1, a V represents 5, an X represents 10. And typically when you have another number before it, it's like subtracting it. So this is like 5 minus 1 because the 1 is before the 5. That's 4. And when you have it afterward, it's adding it. So this is 5 plus 1, which is 6. And this is 7, 5, 6, 7, right? So it's important to be able to read that. Now, so form 2 is the Allama family. Then we have form 3, Jahada yujahidu jihadan, wa mujahadatan family. Then form 4, Akhbara yukhbiru ikhbaran. Form 5, Ta'allama yata'allamu ta'alluman. Form 6, Tasa'ala yatasa'alu tasa'ulan. Form 7, Inkasara yankasiru inkisaran. Form 8, Iqtaraba yaqtaribu iqtiraban. Form 9 is like Ihmarra yahmarru ihmiraran. Form 10 is istaghfara yastaghfiru istighfaran. And there are some rare forms. You might remember this from the lectures, but there's actually 11 through 15 for the thulathi verbs as well. But those are rare. I only remember coming across form 12. But I mean, I'm sure if you go through the whole dictionary, you'll find them, but they're pretty rare. And then there are some ruba'i forms as well. And let's see. Okay, so let's go through here. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, is there an issue with the stream?
Sorry?
Uh,
No, we
can you
can't.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I
Oh, okay.
think you
Did
went
my
silent
audio?
for a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, you cut out.
okay. So, okay, I'm not sure why. Okay, just a second here. How long did I cut out?
Maybe like 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I received if you could just hold on a minute. I received a call. I think what I realized is that receiving a phone call it causes the audio to automatically cut. So let me message the person. Oh wait, you know what? I may have to log out of just a minute. If you could pause the recording as well for a minute
Okay, no problem.
and let me know when it's ready.
You're good now. We're live.
Okay. So continuing along, and so going through here, which indicates they're not doing the puzzle without them. We all know. Okay, so this is an extra little point here. Let's take a look at this. It says in the transcription, which indicates the vowelling of the unpointed Arabic. So in Hans, where entries are given with an Arabic word, and then but the harakat are not given there, right? So then the harakat is shown to you with the transliteration in English. However, the endings of those nouns are not given. They're given in the pausal form. That means when you're stopping without the tanween. However, verbs or nouns that are coming from the naqis verbs that have like a weak letter waw or ya at the end, they will be transcribed with the last with the tanween. So like qadin, which is originally this is qadiyun, but it's an ism naqis, right? Or it comes from a naqis verb and it becomes qadin, muqtadan, right? Another irregular one. So over there they'll put that. And then this is another important too. A raised superscript 2 tells you that it's a diptote, and diptote means partly flexible or mamnu' min as-sarf. So anytime you have a superscript 2, that indicates to you that it is a partly flexible word. And then newly coined terms, these are newly coined technical terms. They have the circle, right here before the term. And let's go to the next page. Okay. Some other details here. Okay, I'm just trying to see what are the most important things to tell you. Um, okay, just going through the organization of the dictionary here. Okay, so I think that's the end of it. And then it goes to the abbreviations. Now, one thing about Edgetal, though, I had to. So part of this is there's an image missing here. So you see, if we look at the abbreviations, what I showed you is not all here. So this goes from A to E, and then when you go to the next page, that's it. There's nothing else here. So the last 2 pages of the abbreviations were actually left out of this software, or they didn't scan them. So what I had to do is I downloaded the PDF for the 3rd edition of the Hansware Dictionary. This is the 4th edition on the website. And then I took screenshots from the 3rd edition. That's how you can find the abbreviations. So some of these you wouldn't even know without looking there. Okay, so that takes care of some of the introductory parts of the directions. So we can close this. And then now let's go to one of these entries and take a look to see how it works. So I'm gonna go vertical again just to give you guys an overview. By the way, in this mode, is it legible? Can you read it, or is it still too small to read like this?
We can read.
You can read? Okay. Maybe a little easier to do like this for me. So um, for every entry, whenever you come to a root entry, you start off with the root letters and you're given the verbal forms first. So here is darasa. Always verbs come first, then nouns. And as you can see here, we have darasa. After the transliteration, this tells you the harakat vowelling on the past tense verb, al-fi'l al-madi. Then you have a letter here, and this tells you the haraka on the middle root letter of the mudari. So this means it's darasa yadrusu, or in the nasara yansuru family. And in parentheses will come the which is the verbal noun. This is dars. Now it goes through different translations. One thing to note is that synonyms within the same translation are given with commas. And then the next definition is given with a semicolon. So this is different than what you're used to online. If you go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the Oxford dictionary, any dictionary, typically multiple meanings of a word are given with numbers. So you'll see number one, definition number 1, 2, on the next line, number 3. Well, remember this dictionary is written in the 1960s. And there's a lot of information here. If they did that format where they put every new meaning on the next line with numbers, this thing would probably be 3 times as long. And it wouldn't even be practical to print something like that. It would be like this huge, maybe multi-volume set or whatnot. So this is what he did. This is what he did to kind of condense things. So the proper way to read this is definition number 1, to wipe out, blot out, obliterate, efface, extinguish something. Definition, now there's a semicolon. Definition number 2, to thresh grain. Definition number 3, to learn or study, etc., and so on. Now, here are some there are some abbreviations here, which I'll show you in a second, but let's do the verb forms first. So we have the Roman numerals here. There's 2, 3. Over here, there's 6, and then there's 7. Right, so yeah, 2, 3, 6, 7. And this is in modern standard Arabic. So that tells us that we have this form, darasa yadrusu. We also have darasa yudarrisu tadrisan, form 2. We also have darasa yudarisu dirasan wa mudarasatan. And then we have form 6. This is tadarasa yatadarasu tadarusan. And then form 7, indarasa yandarisu indirasan. So those are the forms that exist. Now, when you have this little hat with the 2 eyes on it, it looks something like, the hat that looks like this, right? I can't really draw it very that well, but I think something like this. You get the point. So it's the hat with the two eyes inside of it. When you have that, that tells you that this is a direct object in maf'ul bihi that is inanimate. So that's an inanimate maf'ul bihi. When you have the regular hat, independent hat, which looks like this, that tells you that this is a maf'ul bihi that is a person. There it is, someone and something. So maf'ul bihi that's actually a person. That's kind of important to know for usage. Uh, and then sometimes what they'll have here is like a line, a dash. And this is the way I understand it. This is my own understanding or terminology. Again, it's not official. But the way I think about it is like a split root. We're going into sort of a different meaning, same root, same letters, but it's sort of like a split in the basic meaning of the root. So this is darasa yadrusu darasan, and it has these meanings. Then we get to this dash. Darasa yadrusu durusan means to be effaced or obliterated. So that's like a different meaning there. Okay, so that should cover the verbal meanings. And then what happens after that is you get a bunch of nouns. So I'm going to quickly go through, I'll quickly go through the nouns just to get some idea of sort of the patterning that's going on here. I'll point out the patterns, and then we'll come back around for some more details, looking into how that's used. So the first one we've got dars. This is a simple noun. Diras seems to be another relatively simple noun. Dirasa. This is sort of a form. This is a fi'ala form, which tends to a noun form, which I've seen which tends to indicate the art or the sort of the art of doing something, or the occupation of doing something. Then we have dirasiyun. So this is taking diras and this is making a nisba adjective of that. Then we have daris. This is the ism slifa. Yeah, you guys have maybe learned that, but well, it's in that form. But in this case, it's not being used in the meaning of that. But words like that, the fa'il form, that tends to be ism slifa. And then okay, I guess there's that's strange. There's a phrase here. Darasan, that's the ism mubalagha form, right? Darasa, this is also ism mubalagha. Dirwas, I'm not sure about that. That's another interesting noun form. Then we have madrasatun. This comes from, you guys know from your dharf, your sarf saghir, right? At the last line, درس يدرس الأمر منه أدرس والنهي عنه لا تدرس والظرف منه. There are 3 of them, right? In the form 1, مدرسا ومدرس ومدرسة. So now we got a ظرف here. And then مدرسيون, it's a nisba related to that. تدريس, this is the masdar form 2. دارس, this is the ism fa'il form 1. Then we go on madrus, that's the ism maf'ul. So typically ism fa'il is given before ism maf'ul. Mudarris, this is ism fa'il for form 2. And then mudarrisatun, that's the feminine version of the above, and sometimes they separate that out. Now, this wasn't comprehensive in going through all the different potential noun forms that you can get. Obviously, I quickly picked an entry here to show everyone, but there is kind of an organization or there is kind of a schema. It's difficult to, explicitly specify to you all exactly what that is, but you get a general idea. You tend to start with some of these like simple nouns, simple masdars for the form one. And then you'll get things like the ism fa'il, the ism maf'ul. You get nisba adjectives related to them, and then you go into like the higher level forms. So typically the masdars and the ism fa'ils, ism maf'uls, things like that for the like form 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they'll be further down in the entry. So for example, if you needed to look for something like mustaghfir, I don't know if the entry is there in the dictionary, but you know that mustaghfir is an ism fa'il for form 10. So because that's form 10, when you go to the ghafara entry, right? It's not going to be in the beginning verbs because mustaghfir is a noun. So you're not going to look for it in the beginning. And it's form 10, so you should expect to find it for almost down towards the end. And so that's a way to kind of speed things up for you, that you kind of have some general idea where to look in the dictionary for the uh, for the entry. Okay, now let's go through and look at a few features here that are kind of common, throughout the dictionary. So PL dot, as we talked about, represents the plural or jama, durus, right? Dars durus. And then what will happen here is you'll get a bunch of definitions and then a vertical bar. Or I think it's called a pipe for any of the computer programmers out there. You guys may recognize that. But you'll have a vertical bar. And what this does is this separates definitions from expressions utilizing that word. So now we've got the definitions. Now we have different expressions here. Let's just take a look at one of these. So just an example, we have darsun khususiyun. So darsun khususiyun. This is a private lesson. Now an important point here about mawsuf sifa versus idafa. For some students, sometimes they do have a little bit of difficulty distinguishing the two. I'm not going to go through the whole lesson about idafa and mawsuf sifa and what the reasons are, but occasionally some students kind of struggle to differentiate those two. And the way that the Hansware dictionary typically shows you or gives you a hint as to which one it is that if it is a mawsuf sifa, typically only the sifa will be transliterated. So over here, we have this phrase here, and only the sifa was translated. Now, most students would be able to figure this out though, because this has a ya there. It looks like a nisba adjective, right? It's like iyun, so that's typically used as a sifa. So most people, they would not think of this as a idafa. But in case in another situation, if you got confused, that would help you. And we'll see if we can find an idafa example to show you the difference. Okay. Now over here, dirasatun, dirasatun, PL dot. So this represents the sound feminine plural ending. You remember from your Muslimun chart, we have muslimatun, then muslimatun. So that's atun dash. A with the line over it represents an alif. And then there's T. So dirasatun. Let's see if I can find an idafa here to show you. Okay, so we'll just kind of scroll through. We should be able to find one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is that circle we talked about. This is representing newly coined terms right here with that circle. And okay, there should be an idafa here, hopefully. Let's see. There are a lot of actually this one has a lot of muscle sifas. We'll see if we can find one. Yeah, here. Okay, here's an example of an idafa. Now, most people would pick up on this because there's an alif lam here, but that's not always the case. This is a definite idafa. But if it were indefinite, there wouldn't be an alif lam here. And over here, they transliterate both words to some degree. Now, in in the notation here, so you have a transliteration both words. However, the word that is from the entry will be given abbreviated with a period after it. So that's how typically the idafas are done. So you get some transliteration for both, and the word will typically have a period after it. So I think that's how it's done. Let's see if there's anything else. That should kind of give you an idea of, yeah, that'll give you an idea of the basic usage of the Hans Wehr dictionary. Okay, so let's move on from there to Lane's lexicon. Okay, so we'll go ahead and knock that one out. Okay, and this one we'll turn sideways here because this will be small. Okay, so Lane's lexicon also gives us some basic conjugations for the different verb forms. And so this is similar. The numbering system for like 1 through 10, 1 through 15 is the same between them. However, Lane's lexicon goes a little more advanced with other forms as well. So this stuff I can skip because you know this from Hans, where like form 2 is the Allama family, right? Allama yu'allimu, that's ta'lim, and that's form 2. But they also did give us a little bit of information about, well, they gave us 12 and 13. That's interesting. So if awala and if awwala, 12 and 13. They did not mention 14, 15 here. Or there's also 11. If ala, yeah, I missed that one. So I guess three of the 15 they're actually given here. Then there's quadriliteral. Now I think I'm trying to remember the difference between Q, RQ.
Brother Aziz, are you using this from the site, or you're having this app?
Oh, okay. So this is a website, but this is actually not Edgetal. This is I can send the link to this. This is a Tyndale website. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, not the Tyndale. I'm sorry. This is a different website. I can send the link to that later on, inshallah. But this is a website. Yeah, this is not an app. I actually I'm forgetting, to be honest. I have to look this up again. I'm forgetting the difference between Q and RQ, but this is getting into like form 4 or like 4-letter type things. Uh, so I won't go too much into that. And then I think QQ is quasi quadriliteral. So this is an advanced sarf topic. We haven't really covered this. But there's a whole group of these strange, unusual verbs. Quasi quadrilateral means it's sort of like pseudo or almost like fake. It's like a fake 4-letter rubai type of verb, because there are some additional letters added, but that are standardized. But that's a theory. I don't really know that. That's much more advanced. But anyways, but typically when you see like a Q, I think you can think, yeah, this is a rubai. So form 1, Q1, fa'alala. Remember like zalzala. Zalzala yuzalzilu zalzalatan fahuwa muzalzilun, right? That's Q1. And then the next other ones are the fa'alala, form 3, quadrilateral form 3, if anlala, and if fa'alala. But beyond that, I can't really say too much. I don't know. That's pretty advanced. Okay, let's go to the next page. Oh, not sure how we ended up there, but okay, let's go back to this one. Okay, so this should be the next one. Okay, now here is a list of abbreviations. Now it may take a while to go through all this, so I don't want to go through everything here. I would recommend everyone, you can get to this page by clicking on this XXIX, and I'll send a website later on. So this is kind of more detailed, and there is a lot you can learn actually about some of the grammar going through this, because unlike Hansware, which only gives the English abbreviation, this gives the Arabic as well. We can look at a couple, like for example, like accusative case. We'll look at some, not everything. We're not going to go through everything, but like you see at the top there, accusative case in the top left. That's nasb. Okay, that we know that. Now this one, okay. Now this is called, we call it an active participle, and that's pretty much the same here. ACT dot part. Actually, I should use the laser pointer. So this one, active participle noun. So that's اسم فاعل. We know that, right? فتح يفتح فتحا فهو فاتح. That's اسم فاعل right here. Agent, we know the doer, the outside doer. Now over here they call it agent, and this is what you have to be careful. This Lane's lexicon is a very powerful resource, but it takes more investment in time. You have to go through and read this, and you're gonna have to go back and refer to it again. You have to read this preface, learn what these terms mean, because in the 1800s, more ancient English vocabulary was used. It's more formal in some ways. There are these old archaic forms they're no longer used in modern English. So nowadays we don't call it the agent, we call it the subject, right? But in the 1800s, apparently they like to call it the agent, or at least Dr. Edward William Lane did. and that's the fa'il. And so if you're coming and you happen to read an entry and you read agent, you won't know what it's talking about. You'd be like, what is agent? Well, it's a fa'il, outside doer. Okay, let's go through. Let's see. There's oh, okay. Oh, this is another. Oh, this is a big one. This is gonna cause this will throw a lot of students. AOR dot aorist. It sounds like something from anatomy, like the aorta or something. No, aorist refers to the imperfect tense. المضارع. الفعل المضارع. That's the aorist tense in the 1800s. Let's see what else. I'll just go through each column and then I'll scroll back up. So collective. I'll just try to point out some of the most important ones. Oh, complement of a prefix noun. That's a mudaf ilayhi. That's interesting. Let's see. Okay. Now this one would also throw people. CONJ. This is not conjunction. In the Hans where that's like a harf ataf. But this is conjugation. That's tasrif. So it's referring to the bab of the fi'l. Is it, bab if'al? Bab if'al would be like akhbara yukhbiru ikhbaran, right? So that's a little different. Conjunction here is harfu atfin. So they actually write out conjunction all the way. Declinable mu'arab, that's an important one. Then defective verb, fi'al naqis, defective verb. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the second column now. Column number 2. Okay, feminine mu'annath. Then we have future mustaqbal. Hollow verb is called, that's a fi'al ajwaf. Let's see, imperative amr. That's a fi'al amr. Indeclinable mabni. That's what we call non-flexible in the Bayina curriculum. Infinitive noun, masdar. So INF dot N dot. So now this is different. In Hans, where I believe this is referred to as a verbal noun, but over here it's an infinitive noun. So that's another one to watch out for. Instrumental noun, that's a ism ala, ismu alatin. Intransitive lazim, as you guys know. Mahmuz, fi'al mahmuz, like, akhada. Let's see, the measure wasn't. Let's see, N dot for noun. Noun of unity. Oh, this is almost the same thing. They call this nomen unitatis in Hansware. They call it noun of unity. So it's actually easier here. Nominative case, rafa. Let's see, passive, mabni lil majhul, or yeah, or actually, they call it lil majhul or lil maf'ul. Both of those can mean the same thing. Perfect verb. Actually, no. Okay. Jama, plural. Okay, let's go to the last column. Preposition. The harf jar and sometimes a sifa. So I don't know why it would sometimes be a sifa, but typically harf jar. Okay, this another unusual term here. The Maldi, they don't call this the perfect tense. They call it the preterite. Maldin, the preterite, P-R-E-T. If you see a P-R-E-T, you would have no idea what that means. But that's Maldi. And Q dot for quadriliteral, verb fi'al rubai. QQ is the quasi-quadriliteral, which is like a fake rubai. QV, oh, very good. We actually found out what this means. Now, in the Hans where they just said which C, and in Lane's lexicon they told us the Latin quod vide. They mean the same thing. This is which C. This is like videre to see from Latin, and so this is which C, QV. And then oh wow, that's what RQ فعل رباعي مضاعف reduplicative quadriliteral. Okay, that's interesting. And then okay, simple substantive simple substantive just means a simple noun. It's not a masdar, but it's just a simple noun. And then substitute badal. We learned about badal, right, in class. So that's substitute. And then transitive is mutaaddi. That's there. V for verb. Oh, and this is okay. And this is one last thing to watch out for, which can cause confusion. So verbal noun in Hansware, that's considered to be a masdar, but this is actually an ism fa'il, ismu fa'ilin. Muhammad Fatin, we actually learned about these in your lectures. Do you mind? Are you able to come on the microphone and because I'm forgetting? Can you give us one or two examples of a ism fa'il, a verbal noun? Oh, I think wasn't hati one of them? I believe
Hi-hat.
hat.
Hi-hat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
هيهات لما yeah.
Shukran. So yeah, that's a good example. So just watch out for that. In Lane's lexicon, that would be called. Oh, go ahead.
آهي شتان
Okay, shukran.
others like that.
Okay, I appreciate it, Muhammad Fatim.
Ameen.
Jazakumullah khairan.
Amin's one.
Okay. Thank you. So again, there's a lot here, but interestingly, like going through this list, you actually learn grammar as well, because it's both the Arabic and English are done. So I would highly recommend study it multiple times, and you will really improve your technical knowledge of the grammar vocabulary, and it'll help you to use the Lane's lexicon as well, which is not easy for most students. Okay, so let's close this, and now let's take a look at an entry in Lane's lexicon to kind of finish up here. So I decided to pick Darasa. We'll go to Darasa. And I don't know if this is probably not the best entry to look at, but we can kind of compare to what we just did in Hans Wehr. Okay, so I think it actually started before here. Okay, so you start off here with the entry. You can see the Darasa, and then unlike Hans Wehr, which puts all the verbs in kind of one paragraph, and then uses Roman numerals for them. Lane actually used like regular numbers. So this is form 1. It's the فعل ثلاثي مجرد. ثلاثي مجرد, that's form 1. Now, so you have darasa. Now, aor dat means the aorist tense, which is the imperfect tense, or al-mudari. It's giving you the harak in the middle root letter. In Hans Wehr, they gave it to you in English. They would just put a u here, but over here they actually put the dhamma. So it's like darasa yadrusu. The infinitive noun, that is the masdar durusan. And then it tells you the definition. So let's see. And this is the most basic ancient definition. A trace or mark, or what is termed a rasam, became effaced, erased, raised, or obliterated. Okay, and then it'll get to the meanings that you're used to. You might think, well, that's very confusing. What I thought Darasa was studying. You'll if you go further, you'll find the studying meaning. But basically, okay, now some things to note about this. Now, one of the things that confuses students is all the extra terminology here, all the extra symbols and things which are confusing. Now, all of this, what's going on here with these letters? The S with the dot underneath it, M, A, K with the dot underneath it. What are all these things here? You can ignore these. These are footnotes. I didn't go through this part of the preface, but there is a whole guide or legend to all of this. This Lane's lexicon is built on like dozens of old dictionaries, old resources, old lexicons, and all that stuff. And those works, had a primary author and a title. So there's a name of somebody who did that. And so what he did was he came up with a system of abbreviation for the name of the author for the book. And you can actually look up all these. So if you go to that preface part, you can actually look up to see which book and which author is this referring to, A.K. It's just a different way of footnoting, because to footnote, this would have been crazy long. Like if he had used the system of footnotes, he'd have to put a superscript 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then at the bottom of the page, they'd have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, what all that means. And imagine how many times is listed all over the place here. I mean, this would be an extremely long, I mean, each page has like maybe 30, 40 footnotes. And so there's no way this would have been able to fit. So he came up with an ingenious system to just use like a 2-letter abbreviation. And if you're if you're like a PhD, Arabic student, very advanced, and you wanted to actually go back to the original sources from which he is getting these meanings, you could look that up in the preface and then go download the PDF of that book, or buy the book if you want to spend a lot of money. And actually do that type of research. But that's for very advanced students. I mean, for us, we're not doing that right now. So pretty much for us, we can ignore all of those letters. It doesn't really matter. Okay, let's going down through here, and then let's go here. So it's long. I mean, the entries and lanes, they tend to be long because they really go through, they bring examples of usage and old poetry and this and that. Here's form 2. Then we're going to form 3. I'm trying to see if there's any things I want to show you here. Form 2. Sometimes they'll refer you to other one. It says C2. That means go back to form 2. They mentioned information about form 1 there. And let's see. Okay, now we get to the nouns. Is there etc. here? I want to show you that too. Okay, well, let's just kind of scroll through the nouns real quick. Going through all the different noun forms. Sorry, the madrasa. Okay, that's the end of the term. I don't have an example just off the bat that I can show you, but one more thing that causes, I think, confusion in Lane's lexicon is, I don't have an example here to show you, but you may see, here, I'll just write it. You may see after an entry something, you may see something like an and, c, dot. This is an old way of showing etc., etc. This is actually equal to etc. So if you see and, c, dot, that's etc. And there's one more thing here I noticed. We have PL of PAUC. That's a plural of paucity, or I think that's a jam'u qillatin. I believe that's the way you say that. So it's a smaller plural. You know, we learned how you can have multiple plurals in Arabic, right? Some are larger plurals, some are smaller plurals. And so if you see this, this just means this is a smaller plural. Okay, I'm trying to think. I think that's kind of a quick overview. Does anyone have any questions or any questions or comments about that? That should wrap it up.
Can you show the and C dot again? I didn't quite see it.
Should the what? I'm sorry.
And the C dot, etc.
I'd have to look for an example.
Oh, you're just mentioning it?
Yeah, I was just mentioning it. I didn't actually have an example for us, but I could look around see if we can find it, but it may take a little bit though.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was late. I heard and C dot and I was looking over all over the page, but okay.
Oh, actually, oh, here it is. Okay, alhamdulillah, I found one just in the nick of time. So here you go, right here. So it says, okay, well, let's do this. Darajatun, a single stair or step of a series of stairs or of a ladder. One of the daraj of a sulam. Sulam is a, ladder. And hence by synecdoche, a series of stairs or a ladder constructed of wood or of clay, etc. So meaning it could be constructed of wood, it could be constructed of clay, it could be constructed of other things, etc. Against a wall or the like, by which one ascends to the roof of a house. Oh, and then as also, yeah, I should read this a little bit, so I'll show you this. As also, durajatun. So we had the entry here, darajatun, and then it's saying durajatun, and there's a down arrow. What the down arrow means is that this is a different derived noun form, a different derived noun form from a different verb, probably, right? That's typically why they do a down arrow here. As also, and so what it's saying is here that this meaning of this word has a similar meaning to a different derived word, a different derived noun from the same root. And this one, and this one, and this one. And the plural of the first is this, and then, or rather this. And then he goes into more of a discussion. It's more of like an academic discussion. Well, it could be this, and then this is what I read here, and this and that. Trying to think. Oh, here's the QV. So I don't know. I forget. I have to look at this one. I don't know what that means, but it's saying darakun QC. So there's some comment here, what he's saying is that if you would like more information about that comment, you should go see this entry, darakun. That's what QV means. And 30th part of a circle. Let's see also. I think that's okay. That's good. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm good. Anyone else?
Thank you for this. I think we're going to have to explore all of this to understand how to understand it further and ask questions.
Okay, good deal. So I'll end my presentation here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. And you can feel free to stop the recording now.